Today we're going to talk about a PSN scare as PlayStation Network went down for a couple of hours yesterday. Metro Exodus is a huge game, BioWare is working on Dragon Age 4, and we've got a gameplay trailer for an open-world Viking action RPG, Rune Ragnarok. More on that in a little bit, but first let's talk about the PSN scare, as there was a PSN outage on the PlayStation 4 that affected thousands. Now this happened yesterday, and I can tell you from personal experience that I tried to get on PlayStation Network around 1 in the morning Eastern time, and unfortunately I could not get online. I just kept getting a PlayStation Network is under maintenance. At first, gamers just couldn't get on. You weren't even getting a PSN was under maintenance notice, so that was really unfortunate. PSN has had issues like this in the past, and it wasn't like this was planned maintenance. PlayStation Network just went down, and that's unfortunate. I really would be more forgiving if we weren't paying a yearly fee for PlayStation Plus, but when we're giving you our $60 a year or whatever we're paying, PlayStation Network really should be on point all the time, and if there is maintenance, that should be something that is notified to the gamer well in advance. It looks like PSN is now back online, but it was an unfortunate couple of hours yesterday. It's not the end of the world. This has happened before. If we're not playing online games for a couple of hours, we're not gonna die. But yeah, as I mentioned, we're paying money and we deserve a very consistent service, but now PSN is back online, at least for most of us, so we can take the good with the bad. Moving on from that, Metro Exodus is one of the most anticipated games of 2018. It's the follow-up to Metro Last Light, which was the follow-up to Metro 2033, both excellent single-player first-person shooters that created amazing atmospheres, and now we've got the latest game in Metro Exodus, and we've gotten a little bit of information on it. And we already know that Metro Exodus is gonna be a big game. It's gonna be bigger than Last Light and 2033, which were a lot more linear. Exodus, while it doesn't seem to be a full-blown open-world title, it does seem to be more open than its previous entries. And Metro Exodus producer John Block spoke on the game, saying, to put this into perspective, Metro Exodus' script is larger than both Metro 2033's and Metro Last Light's scripts combined, including all of the DLC. That's pretty impressive, because one of the strengths of Metro has always been the dialogue. You always get little bits of dialogue that you wouldn't see in a typical linear first-person shooter. And with Metro, it is a single-player only title, so you expect a far deeper single-player experience than, say, your Call of Duties or your Battlefields. But still, Metro Exodus is gonna have more than Metro 2033 and Last Light combined. That's pretty incredible, and by the way, that is including all of the DLC. So far, from what we've seen of Metro Exodus, the game has looked great, and it'll be interesting to see how the game runs on consoles. I'm sure that this is going to be a game that's going to look really good on the Xbox One X. Hopefully it holds up on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, and of course, if you have a high-end PC, it's going to look great on there too. Moving on, for those of you that are a fan of Dragon Age, BioWare are working on another entry in the franchise. BioWare employee Mark DeRoss spoke on Twitter earlier, saying, quote, halfway through my trip to Barcelona, I'm here showing Anthem internally to EA. I am EP of both Dragon Age and Anthem, working with Jonathan Warner as game director. Anthem's up next, but there are people hard at work on both franchises, and I look forward to sharing more in the future. So I believe that is the first time that it has been confirmed that development of another Dragon Age game is underway. BioWare recently hasn't been the most beloved developer after the release of Mass Effect Andromeda. That game was just a colossal disappointment. Anthem is being worked on by a different part of BioWare, and that game is shaping up phenomenally. Looks to be one of 2018's most promising titles. Hopefully it does not get delayed into 2019, but Anthem is one game I could very well see being delayed. This is a very ambitious project, and it would be pretty detrimental if BioWare released two disappointing titles back-to-back in Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, so I'm sure they're gonna want to make sure that isn't the case, and if they have to delay the game, that'll happen. But nonetheless, a new Dragon Age game is under works. Who knows if it's gonna be titled Dragon Age 4 or something completely different, but we should know more at some point. I would assume that they're gonna release Anthem first, and then they'll reveal Dragon Age 4. So if I had to speculate, maybe E3 2019 is where we could see a Dragon Age 4 revelation, because E3 of this year, you're gonna want to focus on Anthem. And finally, speaking of RPGs, there's a gameplay trailer for a brand new RPG in Rune Ragnarok. It's the pre-alpha trailer, and currently this game is only confirmed for PC, but if it is successful, I'm sure it'll come over to consoles. You can see a little bit of the trailer here, and I'll let you guys know what the game is about. The official description states, Rune Ragnarok is a sandbox open-world RPG set in a dangerous Norse universe where gods, beasts, and the last remaining humans struggle to survive. It was foretold that during Ragnarok, the gods would fall and the 9 realms would be consumed by frost and fire. This was foretold, but this is not what happened. The 9 realms are frozen and crumbling under the weight of war while the gods live on. Now mankind must rise and do what the gods could not: survive dangerous lands, engage in brutal melee combat, take down Loki, and end Ragnarok. We've gotten a lot of very ambitious open world RPGs this generation. Rune Ragnarok looks to be another one. Hopefully the game delivers when it does hit PC, and hopefully at some point we can see it on consoles too. So that wraps up this video. Sound off with your thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you have any trouble getting onto PSN yesterday? Would you be excited for a brand new Dragon Age game, or has Andromeda turned you off? And finally, let us know your thoughts on Rune Ragnarok. It looks to be a pretty interesting game. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye.